When you still believe that circumstances determine destiny, you are stripping yourself of your greatest weapon. It's not your environment, not your starting point, and certainly not what others have or haven't done for you. It is the belief inside you that is the true beginning. No lasting change in your life can happen without first passing through the door of belief. Not blind belief and not feeble self-reassurance. I'm talking about another kind of belief. Sharp, non-negotiable, expecting no miracle. This belief needs no reason to exist because it is the reason everything else begins. You want the world to change? Don't wait for it. Start from the only place where you have absolute power, your own mind. This is not a fairy tale where the poor become rich through a random blessing. This is the truth, silently held by all great individuals. They are not biologically different from you. They differ in one thing: they believe they are the cause. They don't bow to circumstance. They look it straight in the eye and begin rebuilding from within. The outside world, what you often call reality, is merely a mirror. And a mirror never reflects what you haven't yet accepted within. You cannot expect success if your mind still doubts your worthiness. If you don't yet have what you want, don't be quick to ask why no one has helped you. Look inward with honesty. Do you truly believe you deserve it? Deep down, you might still be unsure. You might say, I want financial freedom, but then quietly think, am I really capable? In that very moment, you've already canceled out what you hoped for. The world doesn't respond to what you say out loud. It only listens to what you believe in your heart. You can work twice as hard as others, sweat, sacrifice, but if your mindset is unclear and your belief is fragile, your results will betray you. The subconscious doesn't respond to effort, it responds only to conviction. It gives back to you exactly what you perceive as undeniable truth. And if you see your limitations as real, if you believe you are always lacking, always behind, never good enough, then the subconscious will deliver exactly that to you. You were not born to be a victim, you were born to be a creator. But to do that, you must begin with something so simple that most people overlook it. The belief that you are the cause, not the result. Without this, every plan you write is a fantasy. With it, you will turn fantasy into blueprint. I've met countless talented people with brilliant ideas and burning desire, but they lacked one thing. They didn't believe they were worthy. And so they hesitated, they waited, they stopped. They lived a life of almost started, almost broke through, almost changed. But almost is never real. Transformation never happens from the outside. You can change jobs, move cities, get a new partner. But if you don't change the way you see yourself, you will keep meeting the same version of you in new settings with old problems. Real change begins the moment you accept that no one can save you except yourself. And the first thing you must rescue is the outdated belief system you're still living by. I'm not asking you to become someone naively believing in fantasy. I'm pointing you toward a verifiable truth. Every successful person you admire began with an invisible belief. They believed before there was evidence. They acted as if they had already succeeded before results ever appeared. They embedded commands into their subconscious and let it lead the way. If you're waiting for confidence before you start, you'll never start. Confidence is the result of belief, not its condition. You act first, and confidence comes after. You stand up while still trembling, and each step makes your legs stronger. Don't wait to feel ready. Begin with one decision. I believe I can. Not I'll try, not if circumstances allow, but I believe, and therefore I act. The world doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who dare to declare, I am worthy. That belief doesn't need to shout, doesn't need banners or explanations. It only needs to exist, quietly, firmly, at the center of your mind, unshaken. You don't need to know everything, you just need to know one thing. If you're still breathing, you still have the right to choose how you believe about yourself. And from that place, everything else begins. No one succeeds without facing doubt, even doubt in themselves. But successful people don't let doubt sit in the driver's seat. They let it ride in the back and keep driving anyway. If until now you've lived life as someone trying to please circumstances, then starting today, try something different. Step into the role of the one designing them. Everything begins with something seemingly small, a new belief that you don't need the world's permission to succeed. You only need to believe you're strong enough, worthy enough, determined enough, and brave enough to begin exactly where you stand. And from there, the whole world will start responding to you, not as someone asking permission to live, but as someone commanding life to follow the direction they choose. And that you are absolutely capable of doing if you believe. If you haven't been able to master your circumstances, it's because you haven't yet mastered your mind. Everything you are living, feeling, and experiencing, from the opportunities you encounter to the limitations you endure, originates not from the outside world, but from what you've allowed your mind to believe is true. The mind is not just a container of information. It is the command center of your entire life. And if you let it operate on autopilot without direction or oversight, it will become a silent traitor, pulling you back into that familiar zone of safety where you have no power, no choices, and no real freedom. What matters is not what you think when you're fully conscious, but what rules over you when you're not. Your instant reactions, your habitual phrases, your recurring emotions, they're all governed by the deepest layer of your mind, the subconscious. And the subconscious does not analyze, judge, or choose. It simply obeys the commands you've repeated often enough with strong enough emotion. These might be empowering beliefs like, I am capable, but they might also be things you've never noticed. I always fail. I'm not good with numbers. I don't deserve to have money. The more often they are repeated, the more emotion they carry. The more the subconscious records them as immutable truth. And once that belief takes root, your life will revolve around it, whether you're aware of it or not. What most people don't realize is that you don't have to wait for your circumstances to change in order to live differently. You need to change how your mind operates first. The mind is the filter that shapes your perception of reality. If it is filled with negative programming, fear, anxiety, doubt, blame, then no matter what success you achieve, you will still feel powerless. But once you reclaim control, through intentional thinking, disciplined language, and powerful inner imagery, you'll realize that circumstances are not the obstacle. They are merely mirrors reflecting the degree to which you are mastering your own mind. Nothing changes if you keep thinking the same way. You can move to a new house, change careers, start a new relationship, but if your self-talk doesn't change, everything will fall back into the same old loop. That's why people grow older without ever truly growing up. They live the same year 10 times and call it a decade of life, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they never took control of their mind, the place where every opportunity is either born or killed before it begins. I'm not saying you can control everything that happens outside of you, but I am saying that you can absolutely control what happens inside. And from there, you will gradually begin to influence the world around you. This isn't empty philosophy. It's a principle that every successful person applies. Instead of reacting to their environment, they shape the environment to fit the scale of their thinking. They don't wait for opportunity to come. They become the kind of person opportunity cannot ignore. And that doesn't come from luck. It comes from inner mastery, something you too can begin to cultivate starting right now. The more important question is not what do I have to do to change my situation, but how must I think so that I'm no longer ruled by my